Also hope that you are having an amazing day so far. So for today, we'll be doing our grade 6 English lesson on prepositions. So we'll be doing our grade 6 English lessons on prepositions. So prepositions. And before we start with our lesson on prepositions, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once we've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, we are then going to select the subject of language arts, which is English, and then we're going to select grade 6 because that is the grade that we are focusing on, or the grade that we are basically doing tonight. All right, so once we have selected the grade 6, we are then going to scroll down up until we get to the chapter of prepositions. So in our previous lesson, right, we also did prepositions, but we only identified prepositions, right? So what we're going to do is we are going to recap again on our previous lesson on identifying prepositions, and then we are going into today's lesson, which is to identify prepositions and their objects, and also to identify prepositional phrases. All right. So we said our chapter is preposition. The subject is English language arts, grade 6. And the lessons that we are going to be focusing on is preposition and their objects, and prepositional phrases, right? That is going to be our 2 lessons. But like I say, we did in our previous lesson where we identified prepositions. So we are first going to recap on that specific lesson before we go into our lessons for today, which is preposition and their objects as well as prepositional phrases. And we are doing our lesson on aplusstudents.ca. A tutorial lesson we are doing on aplusstudents.ca. So if you do want to go back or recap, go over certain things, go over the chapter and lessons once again, then you can go to aplusstudents.ca. The chapter, subject, grade, as well as the lessons is on the board as we're speaking. And also we are going to be doing our current lesson on aplusstudents.ca. And like we said, language arts, grade 6, and the chapter is preposition. All right, so in our previous lesson, we had to identify prepositions, right? And we said a preposition is a connecting word. So preposition is a connecting word. And with a preposition, right, it comes before a noun or it comes before a pronoun. And it connects that noun or pronoun to the rest of the sentence. So preposition is a connecting word, right? And that connecting word, it comes before a noun or a pronoun. So it comes before the noun or pronoun, and then it connects it to the rest of the sentence. So that noun or pronoun, right, that comes after the preposition, we call that the object of the preposition, right? Remember our preposition comes before that noun or pronoun, but that specific noun or pronoun, right, that comes after the preposition, we call that the object of the preposition. And if we look at an example, right, it says, I will call you after dinner, right? So our preposition, right, is after. So after is our preposition. We call that a preposition. And remember we said that the noun or the pronoun that comes after the preposition, right, in this case, which is dinner, right, we call that the object of preposition, which means that dinner is our noun or pronoun, and we call this the object of the preposition. So this is the object. The noun or pronoun is the object of the preposition. All right. There we have it also once again. The preposition is after, and it connects the object to the rest of the sentence, which is dinner to the rest of the sentence. I walked across the wet grass. So I walked across the wet grass. So in this case, right, across is a preposition. It's a preposition, right? And our object, right, of the preposition is grass. So grass is the object of the preposition. And basically the our preposition, right, it connects the object, which is grass, to the rest of the sentence. So that is basically our previous lesson on identifying prepositions. We identified the preposition and we also identified the object of that preposition, which is basically the noun that comes after the preposition. All right, let's go to aplusstudents.ca. So the lessons for today, right? We said the focus lessons for today is to identify prepositions and their objects and to identify prepositional phrases. So we're going to the first one, which is to identify the prepositions and their objects. And we say the preposition is a connecting word that comes before a noun, right? Or it comes before a pronoun. And that noun or pronoun that comes after our preposition, right? We call that the object of the preposition. And here, once again, we have examples, which is I will call you after dinner. After, which is our preposition, and dinner, which is our noun, which is also the object of preposition. Right? We walked across the wet grass. If we select the preposition over there, right, then we said our preposition is across. So the preposition is across. And our noun or our object of preposition is grass. So it's this noun, which is our object of preposition. Right? So far we have identified our preposition, which we said is a connecting word, right? And our preposition, it comes before a noun or it comes before a pronoun, right? And it basically connects that noun or pronoun to the rest of the sentence. And we say that the noun or pronoun that comes after the preposition, we call that the object of the preposition. And when it comes to most of the prepositions, right, we said most of the prepositions, it tells us either about time, it tells us about place, it tells us about movement, right? But some just do not. So we get preposition of time, preposition of place, and preposition of movement. And when it comes to time, preposition of time, if we look at an example, right, I will call you after dinner. It's like asking somebody, when are you going to call me? Right? So this is like asking when. It's not time, right? You don't specifically have to say, I'm going to call you 5 o'clock. I'm going to call you 9 o'clock. I'm going to call you 8 o'clock. No, you don't have to say that, right? After or before or later, right? That basically shows time, right? It shows when you are either going to make contact with that person. So I will call you after dinner. And that basically shows when, and that is the preposition of time. Then we have the preposition of place, right? The sunglasses on the table are mine, right? So it's like asking where? Where are or is the sunglasses? Where? It's on the table. It's under the table. It's in my bag. It's next to the. You understand? So that shows where. It shows the specific place that you either left something or the place that you need to put it or the place that you put it or it's the place that you maybe found something, right? Or you took it from. So where that indicates place. And in this case, the sentence, it says the sunglasses on the table are mine, which means that on the table. Where are the sunglasses? It's on the table. All right, then we have the preposition of movement, right? We walked across the grass, the wet grass, across, right? Not next to, not around. We walked across the wet grass. And then we just have other, right? Which is, did you read the book about wolves? All right. So when it comes to other, right, we can say, did you read the book about wolves? About wolves. And that basically indicates or shows other, right? And when it comes to prepositions, right, the most common, or let's say some of the common prepositions, right, are about, it is above, shows where, across, shows movement, after, along, around, at, behind, below, beside, by, down, during, for, from, in, inside, into, near, of, on, outside, over, through, to, under, up, and with, right? These are the most common prepositions, right? All right. So now we went over basically the different prepositions as well as the objects, right? And we went over some of the common prepositions, right? All right. So now if we look at let's say select the noun or the pronoun that is the object of the preposition. Here's the sentence. The actors waited behind the curtain. The actors waited behind the curtain. If we were to identify the object of preposition, what would it be? Or you could identify the preposition before we find the object. Then what would it be? All right. So basically, if we were to select the noun, or let's say if we first select the preposition, right, within that sentence before we identify the noun, or let's say the object of preposition, then we can say behind is our preposition. Behind is the preposition. And the noun that comes after the preposition behind is curtain. And curtain is the object of preposition. So the word behind, which is the preposition, it cannot connects the object to the rest of the sentence. So curtain is the object of preposition. A large schooner sailed across the harbor. A large schooner sailed across the harbor. We need to select the preposition within that sentence. The preposition. So if we identify the preposition, then we can say our preposition is across, which is movement across. So across, which shows preposition of movement. And if we were even to identify our object of the preposition, then we can say it is harbor. All right. Those astronauts, right, know a lot about the satellite. Know a lot about the satellite. So if we were to identify the preposition, right, then we can maybe use so our preposition is about and our object of preposition is satellite. So about it basically just shows other, right? Preposition of other. And our noun, which comes after our preposition, is satellite. So those astronauts know a lot about the satellite. And remember, we said a preposition is a connecting word, right? Which comes before the noun or pronoun, and it basically connects it to the rest of the sentence. And that noun or pronoun, right, that comes after the preposition, we call that the object of preposition. All right. Now let's go to our test. So we're going to select the preposition, right? This is now our test. We're going to select the preposition. The skilled snowboarder soared through the air. So the skilled snowboarder soared through the air. Is it through or is it snowboarder? Through or snowboarder? We need to select the preposition or the correct preposition. All right, so if we select the preposition, we can say through. So we say through. Yes, so through is correct. We need to select the preposition once again. We should hang Hugo's photo over the mantle. We should hang Hugo's photo over the mantle. Is it hang or over? If we select the preposition, is it hang or all right. So if we look at the preposition, right, and then we can say over the mantle. And that mystery novel will surely appeal to him. We need to select the preposition. So we need to select the preposition. The mystery novel will surely appeal to him. And if we select the preposition, is it to or mystery? So if we select the preposition, right, then we can say to. Yes, so to. So well done. To is correct. Well done. Never be afraid of failure. Never be afraid of failure. Is it of or be? Of or be? All right, so if we select our our preposition, then we can say of. Well done to those who got of. Will I see you after class? Is it after or class? So after or class. All right, so if we select the preposition, we can say it is after. So after is our preposition. It basically shows time, it shows when, right? So after is correct. So well done. And then Vicky watched the salmon swim in the river. Is it swim or up? So Vicky watched the salmon swim up the river. All right, so if we select the preposition, we can say it is up. Lovely. All right. So that was us basically identifying as the prepositions as well as their objects, right? So now we're just going to identify prepositional phrases. And we say a preposition is a connecting word that comes before a noun or pronoun and connects it to the rest of the sentence, right? And we say the noun or pronoun that comes after the preposition, we call that the object of the preposition. And if we look at an example of a prepositional phrase, right, is a prepositional phrase is a group of words that starts with the preposition and it ends with the object of the preposition, right? Remember a prepositional phrase, it starts with the preposition. So you select the preposition with the object of preposition. That is a prepositional phrase, which is a group of words that start with a preposition and it ends with the object of preposition. And then we went over the preposition of time, place, movement, and other, right? As well as some of the common prepositions. All right. So if we are now going to select our prepositional phrase, it says the water in the marble fountain smells horrible. So water in that marble fountain, it smells horrible. So we are going to select the four words that make up the prepositional phrase. All right. So in this case, we can then say in that marble fountain. in that marble fountain. That is our prepositional phrase. All right. The fans took a photo with the famous musician. We need to select four words that make up the prepositional phrase. Four words. You see, it's starting with the preposition. So the fans took a photo with the famous musician. So the fans, they took a photo with the famous musician. All right. We can say it is with our famous musician. And that is the four words that make up the prepositional phrase. All right, so now let's go to our test. We are going to select four words that make up the prepositional phrase. Né? What lies below the moon's surface? Is it below the moon's surface or lies below the moon? All right, we need to select the four words that make up the prepositional phrase. What lies below the moon's surface? Is it below the moon's surface or it's below the moon's? So below the moon's surface or lies below the moon's surface. Remember we said that, or let's say in our notes, it said that with a prepositional phrase, right? It always starts with the preposition and then the rest of the words. All right. So if we select the four, we can say below the moon's surface. So we're going to select the two words that make up the prepositional phrase. Only two. Colin told a humorous story about himself. Thomas told a humorous story about himself. So if we look at the our options, is it about himself or story about? All right. Let's say number one, start with about, which is the preposition, and then we go on to the next word. So we're going to select the three words that make up the prepositional phrase. The West family stopped along the way. So the three words that make up the prepositional phrase, is it along the way or stopped along the? And if we select the three words, we can say along the way. Remember, we say that it starts by a preposition. All right, let's go to our last one, which is to identify. Oh, we already by prepositional phrases. Sorry. So we have identified now prepositional phrases. All right. So after we have identified prepositional phrases, right, we're going to log into a plus classes.ca. A plus classes.ca. So if we are by our, let's say by a plus classes.ca, right, we're going to learning materials, and then we're going to scroll down up until we get to language arts. Oh, and then of course select your grade. And then your subjects. All right, so once you have selected language arts, then we're going to not the first, the second. Go to the second. All right, so we will select the practice grammar in this language art book. So that is the second workbook. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to page 100 and not 100, up until we get to page 28. Only 28. So we're going to go over prepositions and prepositional phrases. Prepositions and prepositional phrases. So a preposition, it relates to a noun or pronoun, right? Or it could relate a noun or pronoun to some other word within a sentence. For example, we saw them by the theater. So it's like asking where, right? And then you say by the theater. All right. So if we select the preposition within that sentence, right, and then our preposition is by. It's like asking where. It's by the theater. And then a preposition can be more than one word. All right. So also a preposition can be more than one word, right? And if it's more than one word, remember we said it is also an prepositional phrase, right? That is more than one word. A preposition can be more than one word. For example, I sat across from Tom. Across from Tom. And then we see that the object of prepositions is either a noun or the pronoun. And we're going to underline the preposition in each of these sentences. All right, so if we still continue, right, we see the preposition can be more than just one word, and we mention across from. And then we see the object of preposition, which is the noun or the pronoun, following the preposition, and we call that a prepositional phrase. And then also prepositional phrase begins with a preposition and it usually ends with an object. That is a prepositional phrase. And an example is Marge grows tomatoes in her garden, which means that in is our preposition. And the prepositional phrase is, for example, in her garden. And then we can also say that a preposition can have a compound object, right? And I think let's just stop by the prepositional phrase. That is now the description of a preposition as well as a prepositional phrase. So now we're going to identify prepositions within this activity. And remember, we said we are on A plus classes.ca. And we're going to underline the preposition in each. Identify and underline. All the power failed during the storm. All the power failed during the storm. So we need to select the preposition. So all the power failed during the storm. What is the preposition within that sentence? All right, so if we select the preposition, then we can say it is during the storm. We found some candles in the drawer. And in is our preposition. My brother Jan hid beneath his bed. Right? So beneath is our preposition. And then the whole house was dark except this room. So the whole house was dark except this room. So we need to select the preposition. And then we have shadows fell across the wall, right? And if we select our preposition over there, then we can say it is across. And we were safe inside the basement. Where? Inside. Oh, we didn't do number 4. The whole house was dark except this room, right? So we can say except. All right. So that is basically prepositions, right? And we said prepositions, it is basically connecting words. It connects the noun, or it connects basically the word, which is the preposition, right, to the noun or the pronoun, right, to the rest of the sentence. And we say that the noun or the pronoun, right, we call that the object of preposition. And the preposition within the sentence, it is before the noun. And like we said, the noun that comes after the preposition, we call that the object of preposition. All right, so grade 6, that is now the end of our lesson on preposition, right? We said a preposition, it is a connecting word. It's a connecting word that comes before a noun or a pronoun. And that noun or pronoun, right, we connect it to the rest of the sentence. And the noun or pronoun that comes after our preposition, we call that the object of the preposition. All right, so that is now the end of our lesson. Thank you very much for joining the class and thank you very much for interacting, right? You should have a good evening further. Goodbye.